Special thank you to YWigs for sponsoring this video. I am actually facing my fear of doing the Boho knotless braids on myself for the very first time. I'm actually going to be using their 20-inch water wave hair, which was super bouncy, shiny, curly, all the things. Y'all know I got to start off with freshly washed hair because if not, what are we doing? It does kind of seem redundant at this point. If you guys are not new here, y'all know typically I am washing my hair with the Olaplex shampoo and then conditioning with the Design Essentials almond butter conditioner, just because my hair absolutely loves it. And then as a heat protectant, I typically use the Mizani thermal strength protectant, just because it allows my hair to go in and out of those like straightened states back to curly with no problem. And I have, as of lately, been kind of using like less heat. So as opposed to having the blow dryer maybe on like the highest setting of heat, I've kind of been using the medium heat, and my hair has still been getting dry and pretty straight in my opinion with not too much of a fuzz. I am really proud of my hair. I did take about 1.5 years just to get it back to this length after the micro links. You guys know I cannot stress this enough. You definitely want to make sure that you are maintaining your trims in order to retain length. And any style that I start, I typically just start off with the middle part. I like to keep it nice, crispy, and fresh. I did go ahead and pre-section off my hair so that I can do the brick layer. Super easy, super quick. I actually always, do cheats whenever I'm braiding my own hair. So I really make it a point to like say, what do I want the perimeter to look like? Or where do I want the middle part to look like? Because typically I already know the ways that I'm gonna wear my hair, either half up, half down, straight middle part, or I'm going to be wearing it up into a ponytail. So I can kind of disguise a little bit of the braids toward the middle. So that's where you'll see on that like third row down, I did go ahead and kind of make that section a little bit thicker because it'll be easier to hide in the long run. Now, when it comes to the hair, I did go ahead and just kind of prep it. I wasn't sure if this was necessarily the right thing to do, but it just felt right to me. When I actually used boho hair to add it to my crochet Senegalese twist, I noticed that like adding the mousse beforehand allowed me to separate the hair a lot easier. And then I went in with the pre-stretched hair. You guys can use whatever it is you decide to just go ahead and section out some pieces of hair. Now that I have actually done this style and I'm recording this voiceover, I realized that I probably should have done even thinner strands. So a lot of the times I found myself splitting the strand that I already preset into two, and then I'm going in with the Kiss braiding gel, and then of course the edge booster to actually go down the strands of the hair. So just to keep this nice and simple, I believe I counted out about 40, if I'm not mistaken, about 40 braids that I did in total. These ended up being more so medium than small. I was so excited to actually get started on this because I really had to just wrap my brain around slipping the hair up underneath my fingers towards the middle section. And honestly, I don't know if I'm like at the point where I can give y'all a super detailed close up. I am a visual learner, so a lot of the other videos that I watched, they were closer up, but I still was not getting it simply because I have to do this on myself. So what better way to learn than to practice on yourself? And yeah, if I were you and you were considering doing the style, I would literally just part off like just a little section of hair somewhere in the back and the front, doesn't matter, and then go ahead and literally split your hair into 3 like you're about to start the plait, and then go in with your thin strand of pre-stretched hair, slip it underneath that middle little section, and then start to just braid it down as if you were doing a cornrow. And then to actually add in some of the curly pieces, that was actually fairly simple. Once I flipped the braid over, I was able to literally just sit it behind the braid. So technically, if the braid flips over, it's no longer really behind it, but from my perspective, it was behind it, and I literally just continued to braid it in. A lot of the pieces I kind of just left out. You'll see that I'm like holding it with my mouth. I don't think that's the most sanitary thing to do, to be completely honest. It is my hair, so cool, it worked out. But I did notice like a lot of the videos that I watched to kind of prep myself mentally, they were using like clips, and I'm just like, I don't even like that idea. So at some point I kind of got the hang of it. I started just flipping it over my shoulder, girl, and I got really good really quickly. It's so funny that I literally have ran away from doing this style. I spent so much money 2022, 2023 getting box braids back to back to back simply because I didn't want to do it myself. So allow me to be the greatest example of like, if you want to save money, you can. Literally, it's just a choice and a matter of like mindset and lifestyle. I literally have taken the same amount of time that I would have taken with the stylist, except I never actually had to leave home, and I actually was able to install these the exact way that I felt comfortable. So in this case, you guys will see in just a little bit how I decided to actually seal off the ends, for now, okay, the biggest thing is really learning how to just feed in the hair. And obviously you want to make sure that as you go down the shaft of the braid, you are really taking your time and making sure that each section is just about the same size, because you don't want lumpy and like chunky braids. So for now, first things first, you want to absolutely make sure that your grip is on point. Go ahead and just like start that braid off, get about 2 to 3 in, and then start to actually add the braiding hair to the strand. I know that's a lot. Probably like, Chrissy girl, what are you doing? How did you get here? If you have learned the process of actually doing a feed-in braid, adding the curly hair is just like super easy. And then of course, to seal everything off, I did go ahead and just tie this into a knot twice. Taking the braiding hair, I never actually use the curly strand to secure the knot. I always use the braiding hair, just because it's synthetic. It was super nice and easy just to knot. And then I sealed that with just a little tiny bit of like tiny bit of nail glue. I don't actually think that I needed to do it necessarily, but I remember when I got them done, that's what my braider did. So I'm like, maybe this will work. The one thing about the nail glue is if the hair is wet for any reason, it is going to dry white. That is not something that I look forward to. It's not something that I'm like excited about. So just keep that in mind. If you're really good at sealing the knot, you actually should never have to worry about that. Now, when it comes to actually moving on to rows further up, I did end up having to take about, I think, 2 breaks. So aside from the very first time, a total of 3 to actually split the hair up. And if you know anything about braiding, you guys absolutely would know that like it can take sometimes an hour, 2 hours just to pre-section hair. And I do think doing the parting a little bit ahead of time will always save you in the long run, because at least you aren't having to like stop, do a braid, do a whole part, stop, do a braid, do a whole part. So in this case, all that I really had to do was focus on like sectioning out the next little box. Super easy, super convenient, but obviously you guys do what makes you feel the most comfortable. As I was adding the actual hair, I was keeping in mind how full or not full I wanted this to look. Every section or every strand of curly hair that I actually used was a different size. So some of them were super thin, some of them were a little bit thicker, some of them were medium. I tend to add the thicker ones or the thicker strands of curly hair towards the very end of the braid, because I knew, okay, cool, I'm gonna trim off the part of the curly bulk hair that has that like blunt end anyway, but I definitely wanted to get the most impact in the curls and the weight at the bottom of the hair. So you guys will kind of see as we go through this exactly how I did it. And when I did find myself having a few of those like blunt ends just kind of sticking out, I literally just went in with some scissors and just trimmed it off. Nothing too crazy. So I'm sure like the next time that I do this style, number one, I'll be using a lot less braiding hair. Definitely want to keep everything nice, lightweight, and flowy. My hair doesn't actually feel heavy, but I do realize that like I could have totally used less braiding hair, and maybe even like instead of splitting the hair in half, when I'm adding it in, I could have just used the tip of the braiding hair to actually feed it into my own hair. So you definitely just will kind of notice that the proportions will change, especially as you move throughout the shafts of your hair, right? So around the hairline, I noticed that it was like a little bit thinner in that spot. Around the nape of the area, it was a little bit thinner, but towards the center of my head and just like larger sections, obviously my hair is just more dense. So I had situations where the braid would start off kind of dense, and then I would find myself actually needing to add a thinner strand of braiding hair before even thinking about adding the curly hair. So y'all, this was a time, okay? And it's kind of nostalgic because the reason that my channel is even where it is now is from my most viral video, the how to do box braids video. And I strongly considered, I was like, do I want to do a knot at the base of these and still do boho to make it extra beginner friendly? Honestly, I don't think doing the feed in is as hard as you may think. If you're capable of doing the, wrap the braiding hair around to create the knot, I promise you practice will make perfect, and you'll be able to do so many more additional styles than you would have ever imagined. So I'm hoping you guys really enjoy this, because this was new for me. It was absolutely a process. I was absolutely just kind of like, Whew, okay, by the time I got to this point, I was like, girl, you really committed to this? Okay, we are 4 hours in. I just knew I was going to be done in 4 hours. That was not the case at all. It literally took me anywhere between 6 to 8 hours to get this done. Now, the first time that you guys saw me do box braids on YouTube, that also took me about 8 hours. But the good thing is, of course, it's not like crochet. So when I do my illusion crochet, typically I will leave that in for up to a month. Braids like this, just based off of the size, they could still last up to a month. I've seen people push their knotless braids into 2 months, 3 months, whatever feels comfortable to you, you totally can, just because your hair is a little bit more free, right? So it's literally braiding into one individual strand, whereas with the crochet method, it's just a little bit different, right? You have a higher risk of maybe getting tangles and all of that type of stuff. And remember, the goal is healthy hair, but y'all know me, okay? To know me is to know I do not typically wear styles longer than 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And I mean, really pushing it for 3 weeks. I actually had a trip coming up in 5 days, and even doing this size braids, I was like, girl, is this really gonna be what you need for the trip? Maybe I should have done them smaller, honestly. If I decide to go back in and refresh any of the braids, I will definitely just like record that just so you can see how quick and easy it is just to get that done. I am a perfectionist when it comes to my hair. Not saying my hair has to be perfect, but I do like for my hair to look nice and fresh, crispy. Just stepped out of the salon and I'm going to one of my favorite places, Jamaica. Y'all know that's like the yearly trip. And yeah, I just want to be feeling like an island girl, okay? Super cute, super easy. I'm going to give it a little bit of time so you guys can just really watch the process and see what it is that I'm doing. YWigs really did make it super easy for me. Working with the water wave hair was a breeze, and because it was a 20-inch, I just felt like the hair, I didn't have to like add as many pieces because for whatever reason, it just flowed in the way that made it look so much fuller. The bundles were super full. I only ended up using exactly 2, and not even the full 2, more like 1.5 bundles. And in my opinion, this was really, really full. I was adding anywhere between 3 to 4, maybe even some cases 6 strands of the curly hair into each braid. So I do think I could have moved a little bit quicker had I used less hair, but obviously I didn't really want to go for the mostly boneless look, or boneless, knotless look. I wanted more of that like boho, you know, the boho braid. So that's what I was going for. And the next time that I do this, I still have plenty of hair to actually use. So I'm actually looking forward to that. I may try it next time with either twists, or I will be actually trying it with like smaller braids, just because I do want to push it to the limit, okay, and finally leave some braids in for a month's time just to give my hair a break and so that I can like focus on other things, because I do really miss vlogging, and I know that the styles are just so fun and creative and you guys tend to like them. So, you know, girl, I'm always here to change my hair, give you style ideas and inspiration. But for now, let's focus on the braids. I'm just going to keep going all throughout my hair. This is where that little cheat sheet area is. Remember I told you it was going to get a little bit thicker in the middle. But by the time we get to this second row, and then of course that final row, you guys will see super quick and easy to do. You don't really have to worry too much, because everything will be covered as long as your parts are nice and crispy and you have really sectioned out the hair to get it almost as even as possible. And please believe, there's times that even your braider will take a little cheat sheet, but if you're paying all that money for braids, honestly, I want every single braid to be the same size, okay? But when I'm doing it on myself, listen, honestly, we just trying to get up and out the door. Who are we kidding? was like, blink twice if you're okay. And like, honestly, I just skipped lunch and dinner trying to get these braids done. But I am so proud of myself. I don't know if you guys noticed, at some point in the video, I literally started to smile because the closer that I got to done, I was like, wow, these look so freaking good. I cannot believe I spent so much money on braids that I literally only kept in for 2 weeks. Insane. Like, seriously, okay? When you know better, you absolutely do better. And I promise you, it is worth the time, the energy. And if you really just have the patience to get it done, it feels so much better knowing that I did it myself. And honestly, I'm quite sure these are not like anywhere comparable to my braider's braids. I mean, she has the sleekest, the thinnest, most lightweight braids that I've actually seen. But it's something that just feels so fulfilling about me doing it myself. And girl, I had to celebrate the fact that I was almost done. At this point, I was like, yeah, we right about 7 hours in. And at this point, I was like, dang, I have not even boiled any water to actually dip my end. So in this video, because the hair actually was already pre-prepped, I didn't need to like water it down or anything like that. I did not end up dipping my hair. It was also time to go to bed, so I did not actually have the time, or I just didn't want to spend the time going in with like a diffuser to get the hair all dry. Didn't want to do it at all. So what I'm deciding to do is I'm actually gonna just wait, see what my hair looks like on Sunday, because I'm doing this like a few days before the actual trip. If my hair is still looking like in the way that I want it to look, if there's any braids that I feel like I just want to touch up, because I am a perfectionist, okay? I don't know how many times I gotta say this. Like, when it comes to my hair, I want it to look crispy. If I decide to do that, then I will dip the braids at that time, by which, of course, I will record. Y'all already know, okay? The reels, the shorts. If y'all are not following me on TikTok, what are you doing? TikTok is like the mini YouTube for me. So anytime I need to kind of get some content out that doesn't necessarily need to be super long, a 20-minute video, it goes on TikTok. So make sure that you're following me there. And then Instagram, y'all know y'all can get the quick, fast-paced content, really cute, nice, easy Tumblr vibes. The photos, all of the vacation updates happen usually on my story. I've gotten better at like posting on my TikTok story, but y'all, I was so freaking happy at the way that this turned out. Every now and then I get a couple of questions of like, Chrissy, okay, the edges is doing what they need to do. Now those are baby hairs. Y'all, these are not baby at all. These are just broken off hairs that just can't seem to get right. And it might just be because of like the products, the tugging, the pulling. And then the fact that lately I've been like doing a little bit of a thermal treatment, okay? AKA I've just been taking the smallest flat iron, as you guys could see, just to go in and kind of like straighten out my edges so that I don't have to go in with like a relaxer or a texturizer. And it really just helps to lay everything down. Y'all know I use my Pump It Up as like the holding spray, and then I go in with the edge booster just to really hit like the base of the edges, and boom, okay, voila. I've really been in love with the scrunchies, y'all. I bought them around the time that I had my surgery and never really put them to use unless I was doing like washing my hair in the shower or something like that. But I've just fallen in love with the scrunchies. It's given like, I don't know, early 90s, 2000s vibes. Y'all, this was super cute. I was so happy. I absolutely needed to dip these braids. They still had a little bit of that, like, you know how your braids just, it's like, girl, why are they kind of got that little movement in them? Like, they aren't flowing like they need to. So I caught myself spraying it down with a little bit of water just to get the sensation. But really and truly, I had so much mousse on the braiding hair. I should not have to use mousse at all the entire time of me actually having this style in. The only thing that I absolutely need to do is dip these freaking braids, okay? I'm not gonna actually dip them in like boiling hot water, but it will be hot enough for me to be able to stand. So probably as hot as like a shower. And my showers are typically pretty hot, but definitely not boiling water. You guys can see everything is laying down so nice, so flat. I was actually really happy about the parting and me making that decision to kind of widen up that third row. It definitely worked out. I'm not gonna lie, when I looked at like obviously the hair from the side, I was like, okay, this is cute or whatever. So when I decided to actually put it up into a ponytail, this is when I noticed, I was like, dang, I didn't quite get my measurements right on that fourth box. But honestly, we have come this far. What else was I really gonna do? Come on now, let's be honest, okay? We have come, seen, conquer. I have overcome my fear. I'm just so excited. And literally this just proves that if you put your mind to it, you really can do it. Obviously it takes some level of skill, some level of practice, patience, perseverance, back strength, arm strength, eye strength, all the things, okay? Anyway, I was super happy about it. I am so curious to know what you guys think about it. If you have done it before, if you have any tips, tricks, please let me know. I'm not one of those people that feel like I know everything. I'm always looking to learn. So if y'all have any suggestions, like, Chrissy, when you put the hair in, you should have added this piece in this section, like, girl, let me know, okay? Help me, because there will definitely be more videos like this coming out. And with the winter ahead of us, you already know the protective styles have to continue. I don't want to fall into the trap of doing silk press and then now it's a whole thing. We destroyed it back for the summer. We're back at square one. Anyway, tying this up, super easy. Put it into a bun, bonnet, and you're done. I love y'all so much. Stay pretty. And of course, I will see you in my next video. Bye, babies.